You've probably heard her called the female Elvis, a Swedish triple threat who just completely took Hollywood by storm. But behind all the glitz and the glamour, there's this incredible story of survival, a story of a star who literally fell from the heavens and absolutely refused to be broken. This is the story of Anne Margaret.
22 feet. Just let that number sink in for a second. To put that in perspective, that's taller than an average giraffe. It's the distance a person fell, face first, onto a hard stage in front of a live audience.
So how do you do that? How do you survive something that should have been the end of everything and somehow come back even stronger? That's really the question at the heart of this whole story. Anne Margaret's journey isn't just about stardom, it's about pure resilience. But to really get the comeback, we've got to go back to the beginning.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Anne Margaret Olsen was born in this tiny little village in Sweden. She gets to America when she's 6, a really shy kid who doesn't speak a single word of English. But you know, underneath that quiet surface was this fire, this burning desire to perform.
So she does a year at Northwestern University, but the stage is calling, right? So she heads west with her jazz group, and in Las Vegas, of all places, she's discovered by the one and only George Burns. As he later wrote, he knew right away, the second she walked on stage, that she was the real deal. He puts her in a show, and bam, Hollywood came calling almost immediately.
And it didn't take long for the media to see the parallels. One columnist sees her in Vegas and just dubs her the female Elvis. And the comparison was, well, it was uncanny. Both came from pretty humble beginnings. They had this deep, visceral passion for music, a love for fast cars, and of course, a stage presence that was just absolutely electric. And this connection, well, it was about to set the stage for one of the most iconic pairings in Hollywood history.
Okay, picture this. It's 1964. You have a 22-year-old Anne Margaret at the peak of her charm, starring opposite a 28-year-old Elvis Presley in Viva Las Vegas. Their on-screen chemistry was so real, so powerful, it practically jumped right off the screen at you.
I mean, listen to how Anne Margaret herself put it in her autobiography. She said they were like mirror images. This wasn't just two actors playing a part, it was this shared, fiery passion for performing that audiences just went crazy for. And that energy, it wasn't just for the cameras.
Turns out, that heat wasn't just for the cameras. Not even close. Their connection exploded into this passionate, year-long love affair. Anne Margaret even called Elvis her soulmate, and people inside his inner circle confirmed it was serious. They said Elvis was truly, deeply in love with her.
But here's the thing, their bond went way beyond a simple romance. They really connected on this deeply personal level. They'd have these late-night talks where Elvis would open up to her in a way he hardly did with anyone else. Now, their affair did end when Elvis had to fulfill his promise to marry Priscilla, but their friendship, that never ended. And get this, he sent a guitar-shaped floral arrangement to every single one of her Las Vegas opening nights right up until the day he died. So while all of this is going on, while she's becoming this massive star, she was also doing something pretty revolutionary, even if people didn't quite realize it at the time. She was challenging the very way women were being shown on screen, right at the beginning of second-wave feminism.
You have to remember what Hollywood was like back then, before the 60s. When it came to women, you were basically one of two things. You were either the super sweet, innocent, good girl, or you were the dangerous, seductive, bad girl. There's really no in-between.
And then Anne Margaret shows up. And as some great analysis from Crooked Marquis points out, her characters just smash that old mold to pieces. In movies like State Fair and Viva Las Vegas, she's playing women with jobs, with ambitions of their own. She wasn't just some girl waiting around for a man, she often had the power in the relationship. She blurred the lines. She could be sexy and confident, but unlike those bad girls of the past, she wasn't punished for it by the end of the movie. She was allowed to be a complex, modern woman.
So her career is on fire. Everything is going right. And then, at the absolute peak, it all came crashing down. And I mean that literally. Which brings us back to that number, 22 feet. So here's what happened. It's a show in Lake Tahoe, and the platform she's performing on becomes unstable. She falls, and she lands directly on her face. Her jaw, her cheekbone, her arm, all shattered. She was in a coma for 3 days, her face so swollen she was completely unrecognizable. Doctors told her husband that her career was probably over. But Anne Margaret, just 10 weeks later, and what is just an incredible act of pure defiance, she walked right back out on that very same stage and performed. That accident, that fall, it became the definitive turning point in her career.
The performer who survived that was not the same one who went up on that platform. It was like she was reborn. She transitioned from being this beloved sex symbol into one of Hollywood's most respected and serious dramatic actresses.
And the proof? Well, it was right there in the awards. She earned her first Oscar nomination for this raw, absolutely devastating performance in Carnal Knowledge, right before the accident. And her second came not long after, for her wild, unforgettable role in the rock opera Tommy. She proved to everyone beyond any doubt that her talent ran so deep. And boy, audiences have not forgotten it. Her most beloved roles really show off this incredible range. I mean, from the heartbreaking vulnerability in Carnal Knowledge to, well, the totally bonkers baked beans scene in Tommy. From the explosive dancing in Bye Bye Birdie to her super charming role in Grumpy Old Men, she has left a mark that you just can't erase. So, that brings us to today. Anne Margaret's career has spanned over 6 decades now, but her legacy, it's about so much more than just her roles. It's about this unbreakable, vibrant, and, yeah, kind of rebellious spirit. You want to know what kind of spirit we're talking about? Just recently, at age 82, someone asked her what keeps her going. Her answer? Speed, not the drug. She still rides her custom lavender Harley-Davidson, which is covered in white daisies. I mean, come on, that just perfectly captures who she's always been, this amazing mix of elegance and a totally wild heart.
You know, maybe the best way to sum up Anne Margaret's entire life and career came when she received a Living Legend Award. The presenter, Wallace Annenberg, posed this question that just captures her spirit completely. Why gather dust on a shelf when you are still young, vital, and ready to rock? It's just a perfect tribute to a woman who, through it all, has simply never stopped moving.